Well, hi everyone, and welcome again to Target Cloud's 1 hour workouts, hopefully regular Tuesday morning session. And today we're going to be looking at the Zoho CRM and how you score your leads and other records. So it's basically, we're talking about scoring rules. So today we'll start off with another one of our quick polls. There's only a couple of quick questions today, just to see what sort of experience or knowledge you have about lead scoring. So the first one is just basically, have you heard of lead scoring? So if you could just pop your answer in there. You may know of it as something else, another phrase, but essentially it's lead scoring we're going to be looking at. Okay, so that's an even split. So basically, hopefully we're going to pass on some information about lead scoring itself and then how we implement it in the CRM. And the next one we're just going to ask, and again, maybe only be a couple of you who have heard of the lead score, a few of you who have heard of the lead scoring will be able to answer this, but whether you've seen this in Zoho CRM itself. Okay, so yeah, a good spread as well again. So it's good to know some people hopefully will be reinforcing some of the information, and with others introducing some new concepts. So that's really good. So now let's just start off with a little introduction to the workout today. So we're going to be looking at scoring your leads, other records. So it's basically scoring rules. Today it'll just be myself who'll be your 1 hour workout coach. Craig's off busy doing other work, and the plan is today we'll obviously done the warm-up polls, and we'll have a little introduction to scoring, what and why it is, what it is, and why you do it. Then we'll be looking at building and running some lead scoring rules within the CRM, to show you how you can do that within the system itself. Then we'll look at how we can tie in lead scoring rules with workflows. So we'll have a little session on workflows, and then if we have time towards the end, we'll have a little look at a new product from Target Cloud actually itself, an address lookup for Zoho CRM, and then we'll look at another product we're going to be launching, which is the Target Cloud Analytics as a service. So that's using Zoho Analytics. Okay, so without any further ado, let's jump over to our test CRM. So that's we have a demo CRM within our environment here, and that's what we'll be looking at for lead scoring today. But basically, just the first thing I'm going to answer is, what is lead scoring? And basically, it's tied into leads essentially because leads are new inquiries that we may not have a lot of information about, particularly at the very start. And when we do get some really good satisfactory information about leads, Target Cloud have always suggested we do an early conversion of leads to a contact or an account, and potentially creating a deal. So what we like to do is we get our marketing team that bring in lots of leads, and the sales representatives will go out and speak to those leads or try and look at those leads with a view to converting them to solid potential customers. And that's where we would convert them early if we've got good information to a contact or a lead, contact or an account, and then we start creating deals for them. And so part of this process is to score them. We can score them based on certain criteria. So it may be the lead source. So if you have a particular lead source that a lead has come from, and it's one that has been successful in the past, then you may want to assign a higher score to that lead than you would another lead. So for example, if someone came in from a chat online, they've obviously proactively come to you and had an interaction with yourself, and that's quite a positive sign in terms of a lead. So that's what we would allocate. If it came from another source, such as you met them at a seminar, you may give them a smaller score. But as these scores build up based on what information you have about them, we can then start targeting the ones that we think will be the most successful for us. And the good thing about that is it often allows us to spend more time on the leads that we're going to win rather than the leads we may well lose. So as I said, the reason we do this, we use scoring to focus basically the sales team on the conversion process and getting the most likely leads to stay with us or buy from us converted. And the scoring process will highlight those that are the most qualified. So we've qualified them really well. I mean, we often qualify leads because of the information we have. We know they're real, but the scoring just adds weight to the work we're going to do for them. And it also allows us to look at any engagement they've had with email campaigns, any other surveys we've produced. And again, we can look at that later on. We'll be looking at how you can add that to the scoring rules within a lead in particular, and some of the engagement they've had with other aspects of our marketing, which can be integrated within Zoho CRM. Okay, so as ever, we'll go over to setup here. So we move over to the top right-hand side, and we've got the setup cog here. So we've seen some little changes to the CRM over the last couple of months. It used to be a spanner and a screwdriver, so it's now a little cog. And we go into the setup, and we're going to look at automation on the left-hand side here and scoring rules. So hopefully you'll be familiar now with the menu system here. Based on your access to the CRM, you may see a cut down version of this, but here we're looking at scoring rules, which I can select from here, or to get there quickly, as ever, we've got the search facility, and we can access it quickly from there. So here we have the scoring rules, and you can see we've got a drop-down list here where we can add scoring rules to leads, contacts, accounts, and deals as well. Now in leads, you also see the leads fields and email insights. Also, we've got survey and campaigns, and that's because our demo system is integrated with Zoho Survey and Zoho Campaigns. And so where we have engagement with our customers based on surveys and campaigns that we publish or send out, we can actually add in some scoring based on that. We go down to the contacts. We've also got the same. In accounts, we only have accounts. So the sort of email campaigns and surveys only relate to individuals. And then we have deals. And so we've got that there. Okay, so let's look at lead scoring. I'm just going to jump over to another tab I have open. And we have our set of leads here. We've got 117 leads here, and a lot of them were imported last week as part of our import webinar. And you can see a lot of tasks were raised and are all sitting red, which doesn't look good. And these tasks we want to deal with at some point. But I've also managed the columns here, so I can look at the lead source, the city, and the country. And we do this by managing columns on the right-hand side here. Select Manage Columns, and you can tick what columns you want to appear in your view. Okay, so I'll cancel that, and we'll build some more views as we go along. Okay, so I'm basically showing you this so that we're going to look at lead source, city, and country as the sort of main aspects of our scoring rules, just to see how that will work. Okay, so I move back over to the CRM here and the scoring rules. I think what we're going to look at is, as I said, adding criteria in. So the first thing I've done is press add, and what you'll see here is we've got the list of fields that appear in the module we're looking at. So if I scroll down here, you can see fields that are in the module. But if you look down, you'll also see things like lead conversion time. We'll look at number of chats. They're not fields that are in the module, but they're kind of system fields that are provided by the CRM to allow us to analyze our records. And they're system fields, and they're sometimes known as touch points. So the number of chats could be a touch point where an end lead or a potential customer has come in and had some engagement with you or with us. So you can see other ones such as unsubscribe mode, unsubscribe time. Okay, so in this, we're going to keep it very basic. So I'm going to actually pop in here that we'll have a lead source. So I'll just start typing in the name of the field, and we'll have lead source. And then we can say is, or we could say isn't. For example, if we say is empty, we could get that negative score. We can give negative scores. So you can see the subtract here, but I'm going to say is lead source is, and we'll see because it's a pick list that we've added this field into the CRM, we'll say chat. And I'm just going to have chat just now. As I said, you can see that we can subtract points if it's a kind of negative thing we feel about that field. But in this case, I'm going to add 10 points, and 10 is the maximum. We can't add any more. If I try and add 20, it says 10 is the maximum. So I'm going to give the maximum here of 10, and I'll save that. Okay, now if I go back to the leads here, you'll see that we've got a lead source and chat is involved here. So if I go into this user or this lead, we can see we don't have a score here. And now what I'm going to do, I won't do it right now, is we can run, we've not actually added the scoring rule for all records. So we can do that and apply it to all the records we have in the CRM. And depending on the numbers you have, it may take a little while to do that. So I suggest we maybe build these rules beforehand, or build these scoring rules. Okay, so I'm going to leave that lead sources chat, and we're going to add a new lead. So I'm going to go back over to our different tab here. And what I would also say, maybe skip past it, is I think it's worth putting in a bit of time into deciding what fields or what aspects of the CRM records and the fields in there are important to you to determine who is deemed a strong lead or a strong contact or a strong deal. And you would probably base that on your previous work you have had with customers. And if you have been using the CRM for a while, you could do reports based on your income or your deals that have come from particular lead sources. So there's lots of ways you can build reports on that, and it would give you some really positive information about what scoring you should apply to each field. For example, a chat lead source is a high conversion and deal producing field. Okay, so I'm going to create a lead. In here, I'm just going to give it a... Okay, let's just give this basic details here. We obviously have a link with our Norwich, being based in Norfolk in Norwich, so I'm just going to put in some details based on this person here. The basic ones, and I'm going to add in the lead source, which is down at the bottom in our system information. So I've just put in some basic details here. And I'm going to say lead source is, let's type in chat. So I'm just going to save that. Oh, company cannot be empty. Great, that's because it's a mandatory field. So it's Radio Norwich. Click save. And what you'll see straight away here is the score has been updated to 10. So basically that lead source chat that we've added here, add 10 points, has already been invoked on a brand new lead that we've added into the CRM. So if I go back to the leads module, you'll see this new lead is sitting here with the other ones here. Now, what I'm also going to do here in the manage columns is add in the score. We've got visitor score. Not sure that's the correct one here. Okay, just leave that a sec. Let me look at that one in a minute. Not sure why that's not appearing. Create the view here. Let me just... Score. Okay, so it wouldn't let me add it from there. That's right. It wouldn't let me add it from the manage columns. So just to reiterate what I did there, I've gone into the all leads view. I've selected the edit icon. I've typed in score, looking for the score field. double click that and it's added it to the bottom, and I'll minus out that visitor score. Okay, so I'll save that. So a little slight, not a foible, but you can add the score via the manage columns. And if I drag this over here, you'll see that we have this score of 10 points here. I'll just see if I can manage the columns here by dragging this score up here. I'm going to drag it to lead source next to it so we can see it a little better. Okay, so we've got the score here is 10, but none of the others have any scores, and this is where the run scoring rules for all records comes in. So if I select that, it's saying all existing scores will be overwritten, calculated based on information over the last 6 months, and cannot be undone. So I'm going to say yes, continue, and that will run. It shouldn't take too long because we don't have a massive amount of records in the CRM. So if I go back here, I'm going to just manage these columns again because I want to drag this score up in front of the lead source, because we're going to base the score we have on these 3 fields in this workout. So now you can see we've got various records who have had the score updated. So all the records that now have a score of 10 all match the lead source is chat. Okay, and then just a little way of, I'm going to do a filter here just to show how you can filter this. I'm going to put source. I should be looking at lead source is, I'll select chat, and I'm going to apply a filter here, and you can see these are the records, the 7 records that have a lead source of chat. Okay, so again, we're also adding, as well as adding these scoring rules, I'm showing you how you can filter or potentially create custom views to really let you segment your data and pin down what you're looking for. So we've done a filter here, and we could also save that as a custom view in the same way. Okay, I'll cancel and clear that filter, and then we'll go back. I'm just going to go back to this tab, and I'm going to add another field in here and another scoring criteria. What I'm going to say is city. Again, we may find that we've got certain reports that we produced on previous deals to show how where we have had a lot of more deals come from, particular parts of the country, particular countries. So I'm going to say city is, and here it's a free form field, so I have to type it in, and I'll say Norwich, and let's add 5 points in here. Let's change that, so I'll add 5. I'll click save. Now if I go back to this new lead, and I'm going to edit this lead so it opens the whole form. What I want to do is put in the address information down here. So I'm going to say, let's just put one. I don't want to put that one in. Let's put in one. We want the city. It's pre-filled here, unfortunately. Norwich. And we'll say put the city Norwich. I'll save, and you'll now see that the score has updated to 15. So our scoring rule is being matched. The chat is 10 points, and the city Norwich is 5 points, so it's 15. So if I pop back to this tab here, you can see 15, and you'll see the timeline here saying that the score, initially it was updated from 0 to 10 when we created the lead, and now it's updated from 10 to 15 based on the latest one. And actually we've got a little workflow rule going on, and we'll look at that one where a tag has been added because at this point here the scoring rule was increased. So I'll show you that when we look at workflows. Okay, so we'll go back to leads and back to scoring rules. And again, if I just look, you can still see we've got this 10s on all the other chats, but there may be other people. There's a city in Norwich for this lead here, but their score hasn't been updated. So each time we're updating or adding a new rule for the scoring rules, we really want, when we're complete, I suppose, but I'm just showing you, you actually want to update all the records so it will reflect in their scores. Okay, so again, that's in progress here. I just refresh this page. You can see, hopefully, yeah, Norwich here, this is one here, it has now got 5. So we're in the middle here. That's now been updated to 5. So if I go into that record and look at the timeline, we can see that the city was updated to Norwich earlier on today, and the total score is now 0 to 5 after I ran the new scoring rule. Okay, and finally, I think final one we'll add here is country. We can say country is, and let's say United Kingdom. And again, although it is an address drop down in the CRM, we have to type it in, so we need to be careful that we do add the correct spelling. So I'll click save, and it says United Kingdom. And I think just as a little test, let's add in a negative score. I don't often see that many negative scores because I'm focused on positive, but what I have seen sometimes is you get some funny looking email addresses. So I'm going to say contains, and this is an example, hopefully set up AOL.net. We found that we get lots of spam from there, so we'll subtract 5 points. And then I'll click save. I'm going to run scoring rules again just before we start. And now go back to the lead I created earlier, Alan Partridge. And you can see along here, we haven't got a country for this record. So I'm going to pop that in. I'll go to Alan Partridge, down to his address. And if I start typing this in, the built-in country lookup is there. And I'll tick the United Kingdom. We'll go back. It does probably need to refresh. You can see I've gone back now. It says 25. And as you can see, the scoring rules have run because what you see here, we've got a -5 for this record here. And that -5 has been applied because their address, as you can see, updated it to AOL.net, has now been set to -5. So really we want to focus on the fact that that's not a very positive looking lead, and we may not waste time, or we'll put that one on the back burner until we have more of a chance to work on that one. So you can see these scores are now building up based on the information held. So we can see we've got web form here, we've got Edinburgh, so there's nothing there. There was nothing involved in this scoring rule. And again, we could add a new scoring rule. We could say city is, let's see, city's Edinburgh, and we'll add 5 instead of the Norwich was 10. So Norwich is 5 as well. And I'm going to add another one in, and that would be in fact, I can edit lead sources chat, and I can add in web form, give it 10 points, or I cancel that. I don't want to give the web form 10 points, so I'm going to add in lead source. So I've typed in source is, and then we'll have web form here. 5 points. Click save, and again run the scoring rules. So I'll say yes. I'm going to go back and I'll just refresh this page. And we can see that that's now updated. So you can see here, this lead here, this record. If we go to the timeline, the score is 10, and it's been updated because the city is Edinburgh, the lead source is web form, and when we ran the scoring rules, it's now calculated that and added it to 10. Okay. So let's just quickly create a custom view based on that. So I'm going to actually drop down here. I'm going to create a new custom view. And I'll say lead score over 15. So in here, I'm going to do score. I'm going to say, oh, it's greater than and equal to So 15 plus. If I put 15 here, let's just build this view. I'm going to have it put full name in, drag it up to the top. So you can see some of the previous things we've done in workouts were reinforcing, hopefully. Company email. What I want to put in is lead source and the city and the country. And the last thing I'll put in is the score. And then we can save it with, for myself or for everyone, I'll just say everyone. Click save. Okay, it doesn't like that character. 15 plus. So now you can see we've built a custom view based on scores that are over, that are 15 or over, and that's these 4 records here. So you can see how quite quickly we've built up some easy scoring rules, and in this section here, in this area here, and then we've been able to build a custom view based on those. And then we can check this on a daily, regular basis and start working on these very positive leads that we have. So that's, in essence, how we build the scoring rules. So put in a lot of work prior to try and work out what the scores should be for what fields, and then apply them to the records and the rules. Okay, I'll just we'll quickly have a look at these email insights survey campaigns. With email insights, this is related to when we send emails out from the CRM. So we can give points based on an open of an email. So the CRM will record when an email is opened by someone who's received an email. You can see if it's been clicked, a link in the email has been clicked, and also a bounce. And you can see we really want to have a subtract if it bounces. So a 10 potentially for a subtract, potentially 5 for someone that opens an email that we sent, and a clicked, maybe we can give a 7. And we'll apply that. So as you see, we're building up some really cool scoring points and scoring rules here. And as I mentioned earlier, we have got survey, which is integrated. So Zoho survey is integrated with our CRM, our demo CRM. So maybe when we've spoken to a customer, or a customer's bought something, or a lead has done a survey, potentially they've asked them to do that and they've responded. We may want to give 10 points. Visited to look at the survey, but maybe not completed it, or maybe give 2. Or if they've not completed it and had a look, we may actually want to just give it a negative value. And essentially that's how we're building up various scoring rules. And so you'll see more, if integrations are set up, you'll see more of these appear in this scoring rules area. And again, we can choose criteria for the campaigns and set points for these as required. So again, it's a bit of analysis on your marketing success will help you design this. Okay, and these are what we call touch points within the CRM and marketing, essentially. So it's where it's not just the fields that are listed in the module, but it's also these marketing touch points where we've had some sort of engagement of some kind, whether positive or negative, from a potential customer, in this case a lead. But we can also do these in accounts, contacts, sorry. In accounts, we just have the fields, so we don't have these touch points. It's not based on an individual. And then we have deals. And what I'm going to do just while we're here in the deals, I'm going to add, so at a most basic level, let's look at amount. And what we want to do is amount is greater than or equal to 10,000. And let's just actually look at our deals here. I'm just going to show you the deals. You can see we've got this in our list view rather than our Kanban view. So we'd have Kanban, we've got it listed by the stages we have. I'm just going to go to list view, and you can see there's a couple I've got here earlier with scoring rules. And you can see when this has been converted and a deal has been created, the lead source has been passed forward with chat. So we've got scoring rules deals here. This is a deal. and we've got a 15 score. Now, we didn't have any scoring rules within deals, and that's because I'd removed one earlier. If I ran it, it would make it negative. So before I added this amount here, it would have, sorry, not negative, it would have got rid of the scoring rule, the amounts. But in this case, I'm going to add amount is 10,000. And the other thing I'm going to look at is the type. So what we have is a type of deal. So we have various types. It could be a product, for example. So you can see in our demo CRM, we are a music business. So we've got tour management here. So I'll tick that. So I'm going to go and say amount 10,000, add 10 points. Now I'm going to add in here the type. It's a type or other product. If it is tour management, I'm going to give it 7 points. So I'm going to save that. And you'll see here the old score we've got is 15. I need to rerun these scoring rules because I've now deleted the old ones and added some new ones. So I'll run those scoring rules, click yes, hopefully it won't take too long. If I refresh this page, I'm looking hopefully for 17, yeah, a score of 17. And that score of 17 is the 10 points for the amount being greater than or equal to 10,000, and the type is 7 points. So you can see that here, and it's been updated. So this is where we could apply it to deals. So if we're working on deals, we can manage the scores, again, to help us focus on the big deals or the ones that we think are most likely to happen, so we can get them over the line. And we can, again, create custom views here. Okay, I'm going to go back to the scoring rules here. So you can see that's got here. I'm going to go back to the leads. I'll just have a little pause for a drink of water, and then we'll look at how we can build a couple of workflows to show us how we can put some automation in to let us know what is happening with regard to our scoring. Okay. Okay, thanks for that. Just had to have a glass of water there. So the next section we're going to look at is lead scoring rules and workflows, and how we can actually, in the CRM, provide some more interaction or automation to let ourselves, our sales representatives, know what is going on with our leads without necessarily having to keep looking at them. So in here, I'll go back to our leads module. And you can see I've built this custom view where the lead score is 15 plus. So this is allowing us to focus on this. So we can keep coming back to this and having a look and see what's happening, work on these. But what we also want to do is provide some automation to allow us to be told what's happening if there's any changes being made. Excuse me. So let's go into the setup. And we want to look at workflow rules in the automation menu. So that's down on the left here, and click workflow rules. And I'm going to create a new rule based on scoring. So in this case, we'll still focus on the leads module. And I'm just going to say score increased. So in this case, I'm going to look at any, I want to be told about any new lead or any lead that a score has increased for whatever reason. And so it could be that the lead source has been updated, the city has been updated, but more likely in this case, they may have been sent an email campaign and they've responded in some way, clicked an email, a link, or opened an email, and it would increase. Okay, so I'll click next. So here we're going to say based on score. So we've got these three options. This time we choose based on score. And I'm going to default to the default here, increased. And I'm going to say next. And I'm going to say it'll be for all leads rather than just some leads. So I could actually say based on a particular area, but here we'll just keep it all leads, sorry, and then keep it to next. And here I want to say I'm going to add a task. So in this case, I want to probably add a new task. You can see actually there's a lead score increased contact in here. Contact the lead. I'll just show you how we created that. So I'm going to add a new task. The subject is score increased. We're hopefully showing you some interaction with other things we can do within the CRM. So score increased for leads. I'm going to put the merge for the hashtag, and it always brings up the field. And here I want to put in the full name. Oh, let's see. It is lead name, it should be, yeah, lead name. That's the full name, and then I'll just put in the company as well. So I've got score increased for, it'll be the lead name and then the company name. The trigger date, I'm going to put 1 day. That means they'll be asked, the recipient of the task will be asked to deal with it within 1 day. We could have a notification, and that will be a pop-up in your reminders or in your activity reminders, and then a description if you want. And again, we could even just copy and paste this, or we could put some more information, and that will have the merge fields in. So we'll save and associate that. So here the rule is for when a score is increased, send a task, okay, and that will be sent to the record owner. So I'll click save, and now we'll go over to the I'm going to jump in here and go to the leads module. So we'll jump to another tab. It's great to work between these. And so let's look at this record here. What was their country and city? So let's put their city in. That's Norwich. Tick that. And the score is 20. I'm just going to refresh. And because I've popped Norwich in as a city, the score has increased by 5 points because that was what we've given in the lead scoring. And you can see that the total score has gone from 20 to 25. But what has happened at this time? 4 things have happened here. I forgot we've got this workflow that's adding a tag. So we've got all at once, so it's not quite in order. The city was updated from blank to Norwich. The score was increased to 25. And this here, this task score increased for Franklin Kerfoot of Murphy Inc. was assigned to Craig via a workflow rule score increase. So that is the workflow that we created. So that was kicked off. This was all at the same time, the same minute. Okay, so there's the task we created. It's opening up in a new tab. That's the task. So let's jump to the activities module. If I go back to that page, that tab again, you can, if I click score increased, you'll see it moves over to the actual workflow itself. So while I'm in here, I'm in the workflow, I want to add another action. I want to add a tag. And in here, I'm going to add a new tag, score increased. So at the same time, I'll take that, make sure you tick the phrase you've typed in, click save again. So at the same time there's an increase in the score, I'm going to also add a tag. Now this lead score improved, that's the one we've seen popping up already. When a lead score is increased, add a tag. Just cancel that. And what I'll do is just deactivate that one just now. And hopefully we'll run this score increased one again. Okay, I'll just close those down. And I'm going to go back to my leads. And let's select this Lisa McLucas. And we'll add in the city in the address information as Edinburgh. Tick that box. And refresh the page. It would refresh after a minute or two, but I'm just forcing this. It would update. And again, I'll go to the timeline. So you can see the score has increased for Elisa. Task has been raised. The task raised based on the workflow. You can see the tag has been added. That's one I've just added that says score increased. And you can see the total score has been updated by 5 points when we changed it to Edinburgh. So all these have triggered at the same time. And if we look at the open activities here, you can see there's an older task here. That was from our data import last week. A new lead was imported. But here you can see the score was increased. And this task is sitting as open in this activity owner's queue. Okay. So that's a user of the CRM. So that's how you can notify any movement or changes within the by using workflows for scoring rules. And again, I might just quickly create another one. I'll go to leads. Rule name is score over 20. Click next. Again, it's based on score. And the score will be, if it's based on a score that's actually increased. Click next. And then we're going leads matching certain conditions. And I'm going to put in score. And we have this score here. And I'm going to say is greater than 20. Next. And let's add a task. New task. Score over 24, and then we'll put in lead name. I've got the hashtag, so that hashtag brings up merge fields. So you can select a field. Again, select one day, and notify assignee, and let's just save that. So if the score is over 20, when the score is increased to be over 20, click save. Well, let's go back to the leads module. So here we've got 15 plus, so we now have one lead left that's not over 20. So what I'd like to do is try and increase their score over 20. So what we're going to do is, in their address, I'm going to put Norwich as a city and tick that. And I'm going to put the country is already at United Kingdom. So what we want to do is go to the lead source. It says web form. I'm going to just change that to chat. So that should be in here somewhere. Let's just type it in. Chat. Take that. So the score's 15, you can see here. I'll refresh this page to see what it should be. Now, and it's gone up to 25 because of the changes we made. We added an increase of 10 points. Go to the timeline. You can see it was updated from 15 to 20, then 20 to 25, and the score is now over 20, and a new task has been assigned called score over 20. So you can see here we've got new tasks, and basically two new tasks appeared there because we've got one that says send a task if the score goes over 20, and also send a task if a score increases. So that's actually two tasks, so a little task overload there. But again, it just shows you what you can do in terms of the automation to build in the sort of, the interaction within the CRM. So now we've got this lead score 15 plus, and I might even want to duplicate that. Just as a final option, we clone this, and I want to say the score is greater than 20. So here we'll change the details here. So I've made a clone of it, I'm making some changes. And the good thing about cloning is you keep the same selected field names for your columns. Click save. And we now have a lead score of 20 plus, as well as a lead score for 15. Okay. In fact, in here I could have put between, because it's basically the same list. It might be better to say between 20, 30. So let's say 20 to 30, maybe a better example actually. Click save. We've got those 4 here. Okay, so that's basically how we've created our scoring rules, and we've looked at the workflows, how we can build them in, and how we can actually trigger some information to let us know what is happening in an interactive way. So we'll have a lot of activity reminders appearing in our feeds, our signals, and in our reminders down here, activity reminders, and they'll be popping up in the user Craig Shelley. Okay, so it's been allocated to him because he's the owner. Okay, so really I think I'm just having a look at our schedule. We've looked at lead scoring rules and workflows. We've built and run the lead scoring rules, and we introduced the concepts behind that.